that's kind of been the topic of discussion on Twitter today, just talking about Jayson Tatum. And I saw our friend Burner Celtics, Ryan, on Twitter, whose profile picture is now OG Anunoby, which is hilarious, put out a thread of some drop-offs and shooting numbers. And I'll start off there, and then we can get into a conversation, Sam, because I know you have your thoughts as well on the whole thing. 3-point shooting regression league-wide. Jayson Tatum, year 1 through 5, 43, 37, 40, 38, 31. Yep. Luka Doncic, 32, 31, 35, 28. Shea, 37, 34, 41, 28. Dame, 36, 37, 40, 39, 31. Paul George, 40, 38, 41, 41, 32. Duncan Robinson, 44, 41, 35. Bradley Beal, 35, 35, 35, 30. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's rough.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is league-wide. A lot of guys complaining about the ball, which is, it's very difficult. You know, the ball is a whole new dimension, new weight. They have to learn how to shoot the ball all over again. It's completely different now.
Yeah.
Which I'm not serious about. It's the same thing. It's the same dimensions. It's a basketball. Shoot it. But in all seriousness, we disagree on this, but there are, and this is not a majority minority thing. It's kind of split from what I'm seeing online. I'm in the camp where I think he needs to be shooting less threes at this point, and you disagree, and you have reasons. I have reasons. And I keep throwing this out there. If you don't like Marcus Smart shooting threes because he doesn't shoot them well, and I know you disagree with this, and you've told me why, and it's valid. There's validity to it. But Marcus Smart, for his career, shoots right around where Tatum is shooting this season. Now, like you said earlier,
so different.
I'll let you say it. You can say it, but I want to keep going.
The difference is Marcus Smart has never been a good three-point shooter. Jayson Tatum, outside of this year, has always been a good three-point shooter. And even in college, when it was down around 34, 35, that's still average. He's always been, at the very least, an average three-point shooter. And for the most part, a well above average three-point shooter. So to say you shouldn't want him taking any looks you wouldn't want Smart taking, I understand the sentiment, obviously, but it just doesn't click.
Yeah, but so that is the defense to what I'm saying is, listen, Tatum this year has not been good. He's not. Now, that doesn't discount the rest of his career, like you say, but you're working with the present. He's not making his threes, and he's taking a lot of them. Now, can you look up real quick, if you haven't already looked today, what the volume is this season compared to seasons in the past? Because I feel like, anytime someone's missing shots, you're going to remember more. It feels like he's taking a lot more threes now than he ever has. Which
it's around.
Go ahead.
It's around the same percentage of his shot selection. It's up. It's up from 7.6 threes last year to 8.2 this year. But his shots are also up. His shots are also up 0.4. So like, obviously, it's a little bit higher of a percentage, but it's not.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not much.
Well, regardless, if you don't want. If you want to meet in the middle, right, like we're talking about this, I think he should not shoot this many threes. I think max he gets 4, and if he's not making them by then, you got to take a step in, shoot some mid-ranges. I personally think they should be making an effort early to get him going from the mid-range before he's shooting threes. You let him get a rhythm going, maybe that'll help him get out of the slump. I do agree it is a slump, but it's hurting the team, and that's something we agree on.
Yes, but my thing is, and you are right, he's taking more threes this year than ever, quote unquote.
But the difference isn't that much.
Yeah, 2019-20 season was 38.3% of his shots were threes. Last year was down actually 36.8. This year it's 39. So it's like 0.07 higher than his career high on that. And his career average is around 350 because of his rookie year and his sophomore year. But regardless, you mentioned, getting him going from mid-range, which I can agree with. I mean, he's been, I don't know the numbers.
He's been pretty decent from the mid-range. That's not somewhere I've noticed struggles for him.
And I can look up the percentages just to back that up, but I would tend to agree with you.
But
I think he has been a good mid-range shooter for the most part.
I think if you really want to beat the dead horse with him shooting these threes, like, I don't know, he's over. I feel like there have been a lot of games this year where he's put up really bad performances from three, and I mean that's what the percentage will tell you. And it's becoming a problem. They are legitimately losing games. You can chalk up last night as one of them if you really want to. Because he's shooting too many threes, but really a lot of guys are shooting too many threes on this team. And this is something we've discussed before where I feel like this, and we agree, this team as a whole is not a good shooting team. right?
Yes, for the most part. Sorry.
Yeah. So this team is not a good shooting team. And I understand the take what you're given. I mean, these are wide open looks they're missing, but at a certain point, it's not working. You can't make these shots. It's not a question of the shots aren't falling today. They aren't falling at all. Or if they are, it's rarely, like you said, it rains, it pours.
Mm-hmm.
They save all their makes for one day, and then they're dry for a week.
And for what it's worth, Jayson Tatum shooting 37% from mid-range, 37.4. So it's not,
which still isn't that great.
No, it's not great. Jaylen Brown, for example, shoots 47.5% from mid-range. So,
and I want to say Jaylen Brown had a really bad game, 3-point wise yesterday.
He did.
I still don't think he's the problem overall. I mean, he's been pretty consistent, especially lately since coming back off of his hamstring when he was actually like ready to come back. He's been pretty solid. Besides, Tatum was out and he really was bad against Minnesota, and the whole team wasn't great against the Clippers.
Then he was good against Orlando.
And he was, he obviously was good in that game. But he was good in that game because he was going to the basket at the end. Yep. That's how they got back in the game. Tatum was great on Monday. In the second half, he was going to the basket. Now, there is a difference. You know, New Orleans is New Orleans. And obviously, Charlotte, Juggernaut Plumlee down low, right? Can't finish past him. But there are situations like Embiid's not easy to finish around. Guys don't want to drive on him, whatever. But you need to make a concerted effort to get looks inside and get better at making them. If I hear Scal bring up how much muscle Tatum put on one more time this season,
I haven't heard him say this.
Well, good. Someone must have told him to stop because it was his favorite thing. He was, and then Tatum was like shooting 30% at the rim. It was the greatest.
I wonder what he's shooting now.
He's definitely improved, but he missed a couple yesterday that were tough, and it was just tough. Like they rolled off. Like it wasn't like they were flying off the rim. He needs to get mentally stronger inside. I feel like it doesn't matter about his muscles. He needs to stop worrying about every time he feels a touch to flail or expect a call. I don't really know what's happening there, but he's not as consistent as he should be inside. And he doesn't go up strong as often as he should be.
Mm-hmm. Tatum shoots 61.2% in the restricted area this season.
That's great. Earlier, it was not that.
Well, it's okay.
It's better than it was.
Yeah, it's improving, but that's still not ideal. I mean, Jaylen Brown shooting 73.4%.
Okay, there you go. Well, it's better than it was. That's a trend in the right direction. The threes have not gotten any better. Now, I don't think for the rest of his career he should abandon threes, but until he figures out how to do it again, the volume needs to decrease. It's hurting the team. It hurt them last night. It's hurt them in multiple games this year. Starting with him, going from the top down, touching on other guys, shooting threes. I just think it's a laziness thing. Not all of Tatum's threes are bad. Whoa. No.
Let's calm down.
Not all Tatum's threes are bad. That is something you're right about. There are plenty of times he should shoot the three. However, when it's 17 seconds on the shot clock, he's coming off a screen at the top and pulling up. Those shots are not shots I want to see him take right now. They're not going in.
Disagree. I disagree for the same reason I disagree with the whole thing. And again, we're allowed to have different opinions. Jayson Tatum historically has been a really good three-point shooter, yes or no?
Yeah. Sure.
Those shots at the start of the shot clock have been his best shot of his entire career. His best shot. He shoots around 45% on those shots from 15 to 18 seconds left in the shot clock. And even this season, he shoots better on those shots than the rest of the shots combined.
Those are dangerous shots, though.
They are dangerous shots, but they are the best shots because the defense isn't set. Tatum is bringing the ball up the floor, and he's getting open looks there. And again, it's frustrating when they're not going in, especially when they're not going in, because you say, "Oh, they could have generated
those looks."
33%.
That's not good. It might be better than 31%, but it's still not good. And 45% from his career is good. So I agree.
It was 47 last year.
But I'm not
47 on those.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about now. And that doesn't mean that you're wrong because you think he's going to break out of it eventually, which he will. He definitely will. But right now, it's hurting the team, and they're not doing anything about it. That's my problem. It's not that I don't think he's ever going to be able to shoot threes again. My problem is they are losing games because they insist on doing this, and it's not working.
But you can't
it's not like it's been 5 games and he's been struggling, which he immensely has over the last 5 games.
It's been half a season, I know.
an extended period of time, half a season, where it hasn't worked. Figure it out.
No, okay. The baffling part, though, and I think you'll agree with this at least, for like half of the season it hasn't been like Tatum shooting 32% every game. He either shoots really well or really bad. Do you know what I'm saying? Like there's no like
That's a problem still.
there's no like 3 for 10 games, and there probably are sprinkled in there, but for the most part it's either he's shooting like 40% or better, or he's shooting like 15%. And yes, that's a problem, but at the same time, with the history he's had, you can't just change up like your whole game plan. Like, and I'll agree with you on this. If he starts the game 0 for 5, 0 for 4, whatever,
pull the plug. That's my biggest thing.
Yes,
that's my
I'll agree
biggest
with you on that.
ask.
At least switch it up, because the clip that went not viral, but like was on Twitter last night. I'm sure you saw. You see the clip John Corrales tweeted out about
the picture of Jaylen Brown.
Brown in the corner.
Yeah.
That's a place where I'm like, okay, Jayson Tatum at this point is probably like 0 for 4 or 5 from 3. You see Jaylen Brown in the corner. He has an open lane. You need to pass that ball. I don't care if you are open, because you have guys closing out on you. You get that ball to Brown. I agree with that.
Plus he's good from the corner, Brown.
Yes. But at the same time, I don't agree with the ideology that Tatum needs to stop taking threes, because if he gets an open 3, I don't care if he's 0 for 11. You take the shot. You take the shot if he has an open 3.
Take no threes. I mean,
I know
he needs to pick his threes more carefully.
If Tatum is 0 for 11 from the field,
he needs to really make an effort not to get baited into shooting them. Because, like you say, when he's been cold, he's been cold. If he's hot and he's making his threes, like that Pacers game last week, he started off like 4 for 4. Shoot as many as you want. If you're making them, I don't care. But if you're not making them, like, you need to realize that and adjust.
Sure, but I don't care if he's 0 for 1, 0 for 5, or 0 for 10. If he gets a wide open 3, I want him taking the shot. Every time. I want Jayson Tatum taking the shot.
Every time. Well, I think that shot last night was open at the time.
With the Jaylen Brown thing?
Yeah, that one. It was open, but Brown was more open, and he still took the shot.
Of course. And that's the exception. If there's other guys open and you know you're cold, fine. But if you are open and you have a shot, and like whatever, say there's no other options, you can't have Jayson Tatum. Like, that's where the issue comes in. You've heard of the yips, right? You can't have a guy who's historically exactly. I mean, I haven't had the chance to play basketball at the level you have, unfortunately, so I can't say the same.
But D2 basketball in Rhode Island is the pinnacle.
You play. I was gonna say you didn't play in college. High school D2 is
high school. Yes.
I didn't know there were divisions in high school. That tells you where I was at when I was in high school. My point is, for a player like Jayson Tatum, right? The Marcus Smart thing, right? At this point, Marcus Smart's never had a problem with confidence, whatever. So at that point, after you have X however many years of showing he's not a good 3-point shooter, he has learned and has gotten better this year. Maybe don't take so many of those shots. Jayson Tatum has taken an increased amount of threes every year because he is good at those shots. And I don't want to let half a season of a struggle season, especially when everybody across the league, every superstar around the league is struggling to shoot the ball this season. I don't want that to affect Tatum's confidence in the slightest.
You can't say LeBron's shooting like 40%, and he sucks at shooting.
There's obviously anomalies, yes, but you can't look at one, it's the same thing.
There
it's the same argument.
There are a lot of guys trending downwards. Like, you pulled up our buddy Celtics fan, Ryan, his stats.
Every single shooting superstar around the league is having a down year. Even Steph Curry, who's having a phenomenal year.
Remarkable to me.
Duncan Robinson's having a bad year. Stephen Curry's having a down year from 3. And no one's going to talk about it because he's still shooting a ridiculous percentage.
Well, it's not even that. It's like the Warriors are winning games. The Heat are winning games. Okay?
Yes, and you want to know why? Do you want to know why they're winning games? And this is,
because they don't rely on that.
No, not even. We'll take a second to take off the blame. It's because they have other guys who are. They have other guys who are making threes. PJ Tucker leads the league in 3-point percentage. Andrew Wiggins just shooting 42% from deep. Jordan Poole's shooting well from 3.
What does
the Warriors have a whole host?
Shoot.
Okay, yes, but it's two guys.
Jaylen Brown's at almost 37% again. He's figuring it out.
Sam, don't sit here and try to argue that the Celtics
are not equal, but there are still guys on the Celtics that can make threes.
Sure, but when it comes to it, the Celtics are a bad 3-point shooting team, correct?
Yes, they are. And they need to stop working to make open 3-point looks, instead work to make open looks in spots they can actually put the ball in the basket, whether it's underneath, mid-range, at the free throw line, wherever. That's really what I'm getting at is, one, if Tatum's off, he needs to realize that and adjust. That's number one. Yeah. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean going to the game thinking no threes for me. It means, okay, I've missed 3 threes in a row. Maybe I'll work to get a mid-range, or not even him. Ime Udoka says, all right, I brought it up last night or early this morning. An example play is the play they used to run for Avery Bradley. He'd come off the handoff and make it a mid-range. Like right at the elbow or something. Do that.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, and
get him a look that he should be able to make. We said 37% from the mid-range. Still not
just
fantastic.
start driving. And I'm not like saying Tatum shouldn't drive more. Of course he should drive more. I'm just saying I disagree with the sentiment that Jayson Tatum needs to stop taking threes when they're open. Because that's the thing I've seen a lot on Twitter. Sure. And maybe, but the thing is, what threes do you take away? You could say, okay, don't shoot those, contested ones. He's shooting the same amount of contested threes he's shot in his whole career. He's shooting the same breakdown is wide open, contested. It's the same percentage as across his entire career.
Most importantly, if he misses let's say 0 for 4, 0 for 5, after that, he shouldn't be shooting threes unless it's something that's a contingency to
unless it's wide open.
They shouldn't be running at that point. They shouldn't be running offense to get him open threes so he can shoot them. If he happens to get an open look off of a drive or something like that, it's different. But I don't want them, running their whole offensive sets to get him the open look from 3. I don't want. Yeah. I would love to see a lot less of the early off the pick threes. This season, still 33% is not good. It's not good. It's what we have in front of us right now. It's not. I mean, I'm not going to bring up veterans that have declined because he's not a veteran that's declining. He's 23.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Doncic. There's plenty of options for you there too.
No. I mean, like you could say Ray Allen. If you put him out there now, he wouldn't shoot as high of a percentage from 3. That's the kind of thing I mean.
Obviously,
ridiculous.
Yeah.
But right now, he is not shooting well from 3. So instead of having him continue to take a high volume, pick the spots. Take threes that are really, really makeable and let him get his confidence back.
The issue is
easy to overreact and say okay, no more threes, which I think they should do sometimes during the offense, when they're really struggling.
I know what you're saying.
I don't want to see threes when the other team's on a run. I'm sorry. If the other team scored 3 possessions in a row, get to the basket.
Last night, obviously, I mean, I know you saw the stat. They were in the bonus with 8 minutes 40 left, and they took no free throws. That's not okay.
That's bad. They took 16 threes in the fourth out of 24 shots.
And that's a problem. I'm not sitting here saying, this amount of threes is fine. Always take threes. That's not what I'm saying. I don't have a problem with the threes when they are wide open looks. Even away from Tatum. Those Josh Richardson threes, even you were fine with those. Those were wide open.
He was making his threes yesterday. Of course I'm fine with
exactly. But with superstars,
40% from the season.
Yes, around there, he's a good 3-point shooter. Exactly. The same thing you could say for Grant. He can take those threes too, and even Schroeder yesterday. Sure. And if you listen to the podcast, I hate
threes.
Yeah, I dislike Schroeder. Schroeder's been amazing lately. He's been saving the Celtics, and I'm going to give him all the credit.
He was 5 of 7 yesterday, and there were still at least I remember he pulled up on a fast break once. I hated that.
But hey,
I remembered that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Regardless, though, if Tatum gets an open 3, I want him taking that 3. Obviously, there are exceptions to that rule, like the Jaylen Brown picture we're referencing. If there's other guys open, if you can get a pass for a layup, fine. But I don't want Tatum to stop taking threes because he is a good 3-point shooter. He's having a bad 3-point shooting year, but Jayson Tatum is a good 3-point shooter. And those can both be true. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So
Tic-tac-toe.